Hello, my name is Heather Gilchrist and I'm a second year student studying a Masters of Midwifery at the University of West of Scotland. This little tree grew exactly a year ago from a seedling of an idea to celebrate this year's International Day of the Midwife. The Tree of Life is symbolic in many cultures and beliefs across the world, reflecting the sharing of knowledge and wisdom, the intricate connection between the elder branches which support the young buds of the future. Much like the Tree of Life, the International Day of the Midwife symbolises the partnership and community of midwives locally, nationally and worldwide, encouraging new networks between the midwives of today and of tomorrow. Our hope for this tree was to grow and represent this very community and connection of midwives, students, teachers and mentors across all of Scotland. And so in October of last year, the tree was created and the journey across the 14 health boards of Scotland began. From Shetland to the borders and everywhere in between, over 4,000 miles. The tree sprouted thumbprint leaves of many colours. Shetland purple, Tayside magenta, to Greater Glasgow and Clyde green and Highland red. Now it would be fair to say that Ayrshire were none too impressed with their distinct Corma yellow, but when I pointed out that Lanarkshire were represented by Meconium brown, they felt somewhat relieved. It was our honour to add some precious gold leaves too, to represent our fellow midwives that are no longer with us but remain very much in our thoughts and in our practice today. There are now over 1,000 thumbprint leaves on this beautiful midwifery tree of life with memories written in the books. I could second guess the length of service a midwife had given with the time she took to remember before she wrote it in the book. The length of pause seemed to equate to the many years in the profession. With each thumbprint, the donation of £1 collected will be allocated to the RCM Benevolent Fund and to support UWS student midwives with further training or elective placement costs. The Tree of Life will finally be displayed thereafter in the new UWS campus in Blantyre later this year. It has been a complete joy to have had the pleasure of meeting so many amazing, warm and spirited midwives while accompanying our tree across the country. From students like myself to retired midwives, I was greeted with the same enthusiasm and welcome. This extended to the financial support of UWS, who covered transport costs, the Royal College of Midwives, who sponsored the glorious paints, my husband and family, who sponsored the canvases, like they had a choice, and Loganair and Calmac, who generously donated flights and ferry crossings to the islands, including Shetland, Orkney and Western Isles. I have so many stories to share with you, with all included on the Facebook Tree of Life page if you wish to read them. Some stories have had over 10,000 views and the tree has over 600 followers. It's quite a celeb, you know. I'm just back from working with Midwives New Zealand and they now have their own wee offshoot growing now on the other side of the world to begin their own leaf collection for the International Day of the Midwife too. But to bring this tree to life, let me share a couple of stories. On the very first day of this little tree's adventure to the Kell Community Maternity Ward in Dunoon, an older lady came to the door and no one in the team knew who she was. We naturally invited her in and she explained she'd been the midwife in charge of the unit before when she retired 25 years ago. She asked if she could add her thumbprint to the tree. She told me, "You might retire, but you'll always stay a midwife in your heart." She was 84 years old, and I knew that day how much I'd learned from meeting you all on this journey. In Orkney, the midwives are truly multi-skilled. The head of midwifery, Michelle, apologised for some of her team being unable to come to add their thumbprints. They were away in a lambing course. I'm looking forward to that module in my training. In Shetland, I remarked in all my innocence how much I liked that colour of aubergine instead of our student smocks in boiled wash grey. "That was on my colour wheel, you know," I told the midwife wearing it. Kate said, "You may have to work a few years yet to get one of those to wear, Heather." Seriously though, after coming from 25 years in the commercial industry, which was very much about, do you know who I am? I'm grateful for the generosity of spirit that the tree and myself have been given consistently around every maternity unit. We are very much a community of like-minded, caring souls. My favourite encounter, which truly represents the humbleness of all the midwives I've met, was when I attended a midwifery conference in Stirling to discuss rural continuity of care and was happily meeting and showing midwives how to add their thumbprints to the tree. One lovely lady came up and I asked enthusiastically where she was from, and she replied, "I'm from Lothian." "Ah, you'll be lime green paint then. Which hospital do you work in?" I asked. "Do you work in St John's or in the Royal?" "Oh, I can work in either," she said. "Oh, that sounds exciting," I said. "Is that as a bank midwife?" I saw her smile and she paused and said, "Yes, something like that." I thanked her and she wished me well, and after she left I read her entry. Frances Maguire, Chief Midwife of Lothian. Not my finest ambassadorial moment, methinks. And so here it is, our midwifery tree, resplendent in all its colours, to celebrate our Community and International Day of the Midwife. We are this tree, and this tree is all of us. If you haven't already added your thumbprint, the tree is here for you over the conference. And for those of you who've already added their thumbprints in blooming Technicolor glory, thank you from that crazy lady with the tree.